Hi there, my name is Rebecca Marsh, and I'm going to be sharing with you some examples of distance learning materials. So, for my distance learning materials, I chose to focus on early childhood education. So, this is at a high school level. Some background information: the functionality of the lessons would require for them to be posted on an LMS system. They would be aligned with using synchronous classes, so something aligned with Zoom or Google Meet. Within each of the lessons, there are opportunities to utilize Nearpod, Jamboard, Padlet, Google Slides, Docs, and many other platforms. These lessons include examples of class discussions, notes, reviews, as well as group and independent assignments. The material itself is based on students who have already taken a prerequisite child development, and so it focuses on early childhood education, that being in areas that would deal with working with children, whether it be teaching or other occupations. So, based on best practices of virtual learning or distance learning, I have created my lessons. I have had experience with virtual learning during COVID, and so I also took that into consideration. So, really quickly, some of the best practices with building relationships, I made it a point to set up a get to know you through Padlet, to have students incorporate information about themselves that they want to share, to have questions at the beginning of class to allow everyone to get comfortable with one another. And we had student surveys. Providing clear and explicit instructions. We spent several days going over that information. Moving forward, providing ways to modify or change activities. So I used a lot of digital tools. Ones that you may not see in my lessons include polls. You'll see some quizzes within my Canvas page, virtual whiteboards I used through Jamboard. So using all the different platforms so it's not getting stagnant. And with flexibility, giving choices. Some students work better on Google Slides. Some like to be a little bit more creative and maybe use Photoshop or Canva. And I did open up those which you won't see in these lessons. So in lesson one, it has a focus on introducing the idea of developmentally appropriate practice. And in this case, the presentation is given through Nearpod. If you are unfamiliar with Nearpod, I do have a video that explains the Nearpod capabilities, and I will share this website with you. So here's an example of group work or breakout examples. So this would be a live document, much like you probably have experienced in a grad class. Students would break out into groups and they would answer the prompts together. This is an example of an independent activity where students are utilizing the information that they already know, like anecdotal note taking and observation, and being able to apply it to now developmentally appropriate activities. In lesson two, we take the idea of developmentally appropriate practice. We do a little review with a Blookit. Blookit has a lot of different options, doing it independently versus as a whole group. There are different games that work best for depending on the student's interests. For lesson number two, we are looking at materials and ways to implement the developmentally appropriate practice that they previously had been taught. In this case, there are some opportunities to respond in a chat setting, and then some videos for them to collaborate on. Here's another example of interactive slides where students would be given one singular link. They would find a slide with their name on it, and they would each contribute independently, but also being able to see one another's responses. Here is a classroom discussion, again, that uses Jamboard. Jamboard is being removed, but this could easily be transferable to Padlet. The pictures were previously there. They have their prompts, and they're able to add their own insight. And then we have a final project example. So a little bit bigger, a little bit more elaborate. In this case, it's Google Slides. However, they have the opportunity to utilize any other platform if they want to do a Canva video, if they want to do a Flipgrid. They have that opportunity here. I did only include student examples that I have from Google Slides. In lesson 3, again, sticking with developmentally appropriate practice, changing up the Google slide, the visual, so that they can see a differentiation between lessons. Again, we have some opportunity for reflection and connection, so asking them more personal questions. So here's an example of a Padlet put together with student reflection. Some in-class activities, again, sharing open documents that everyone is typing in, so everyone's collaborating, see what everyone's writing. Some modules, so these would be independent modules. They're finding their material independently and they're responding and turning it in, so only the instructor sees, as well as the final product. This giving them a little bit more individuality to answer and expand on their learning. And this is a collaborative supplemental activity, something that can be done that creates almost like a catalog for students. Again, something that's not seen within that website are some of the options that work with virtual learning and distance learning, having a really well organized module. So you can see my current Canvas page, I break up by days of the week. I try and label them with whether they're presentations or bell ringers or classwork. Within each of those, even within Canvas, they have the opportunity to do click and drag examples. They have opportunities to do polls. They can utilize different research techniques, whether they're writing a paper. We even offer the opportunity for them to do it on paper and upload a picture if they have those capabilities. So here's an example of Poll Everywhere. This is something that I utilize from time to time. It creates word clouds. It does a bunch of cool little things besides just clicking a yes or no button. But I will share my website with you, and this is what I have gained from applications of telecommunications.